welcome back to the Jack and Glenn channel. I'm Jackie.
I'm her husband Glenn on location this week.
On location, my husband Glenn is on location.
Yeah,
not Khalid. Not like Khalid. I know his location.
Yeah, send me. Well, I can't sing.
No, please.
No,
please
I can't sing. No. Well, Married at First Sight, the reunion show. Man, oh, what a good show. We didn't really get anything new out of the people, contestants, competitors, whatever you want the case may be. It ain't anything new, but it was good to see them together after several months and see how they interacted with each other. Let's start with our favorite couple. We can start with Greg and Deanna because everybody loved Greg and Deanna. I love Greg and Deanna. You, America, love Greg and Deanna, and I think Greg and Deanna love Greg and Deanna. And so we see that their relationship is going well. And I think something that was key that Deanna said while she was talking was that when the cameras were not rolling, her and Greg had a lot of conversations. And they had a lot of deep conversations. And I thought that was great because that built their relationship and it showed them that when the cameras are not rolling, we are who we are. Because we know when Matt wasn't on camera, he was out of town. So he wasn't home. So with Greg and Deanna being on, when the cameras are gone, they had a great time with each other and they really learned each other. And I thought that was great for her to say that.
Yeah, I like that too. You haven't heard a lot of people say that we spent time getting to know each other when the cameras were off. It wasn't just about the filming for us. I like that she said that because they started practicing or preparing for the cameras being gone before they were actually gone. So that was good to hear. And she said they talked real deep. They asked deep questions when the cameras were off. And so I think that set them up for success. It really did.
Because got to know each other. So didn't have to hide anything. They didn't have to worry about putting on a front for TV. As we learned, Keith and Iris didn't want some things discussed on TV and didn't want some things seen. And that was a time that Greg and Deanna, I think, really got closer. And the bond that we saw on TV was the product of them having conversation outside of TV. And I'm glad they're doing well. Everybody had the baby rumors. They are having an addition to their family, and it's not a dog. Sandy's not having a baby, but it's the fact that they're having a nephew. They're adding a nephew to their family, and I like how Deanna kind of played it up a little bit. You saw her hand on her stomach at times, and
we're expanding. Our family.
And everybody was excited. I would have kind of been disappointed. I think I'm outside the norm. I think I'd have been disappointed if she said she was pregnant.
I mean, honestly, I would have too. I'm going to tell the truth. I was kind of disappointed when Shanice and Jeffy, when they came pregnant to the reunion, and Bobby and Danielle, because, having been married and having children, I think those first couple of years is formative. You're getting to know each other. You're spending time. And that's when you know somebody already. So take it to consideration. They're married at first sight. I would have liked them to spend more time getting to know each other before putting a baby in the mix, because a baby can definitely, it does change your schedule. It changed the relationship, the relations between a husband and a wife, the time you spend with each other. So I'm happy they're not pregnant. And Deanna said she wanted to wait like a year and a half, 2 years. So that's a good time frame. They'll know each other real well by now.
Yeah, and they know each other real well, and they won't complicate things. But as we all knew, and everybody knows, Deanna did make the smart move. She moved into Greg's house.
I mean, the house was family ready. How could she not move in there? He bought the house. He called those things which be not as though they were. He said, I'm going to get this house because I'm going to get me a wife. I'm going to have some kids. I'm going to have a dog, even though we found out that he's actually allergic to the dog. The hair be everywhere. But he bought that big old house because he was expecting to have a family, a wife. He was preparing for the future. Good job, Greg. And Deanna, smart move, Chickie. Go ahead and move in there in that joint. It's ready. It's ready for you to put your design touches, to put yourself in there.
Yeah, which is smart for them. They both business owners, or they both, in upper level management. Greg owns the business. and they smart, and economically they can do very, very well. So I'm happy for them. Kudos to them. Nothing major, out of their relationship. Just they together and they doing fine. The only question I have, and it's from early in the season, and some of you viewers may remember. Wonder what church they're going to, because Deanna didn't have a church home. Greg had a church home. Wonder if she's going to his home or she's still at Bedside Baptist. I don't know. Just kidding.
She is going. I'm telling you, she's going to his church because he's got roots there, and she's looking for a place to go. So even if she decides not to join there, because her husband is there, she's gonna visit. She's gonna try her best to get into it. Deanna seems like that kind of chick.
All right.
So.
Let's move on, because we want to save the one that you have a lot of comments about last. Okay. Let's move on to Matt and Amber. We saw Matt come out. Matt came out and talked about, he just nonchalant Matt. Matt just got that nonchalant vibe. Like, I don't care. I'm here for my 15 minutes of fame. I'm here for because y'all made me come here. A lot of comments on social media was like, they can't believe Amber's actually sitting beside Matt, that she still want to be cordial to Matt. That would have slapped Matt in the face. I guess for the TV show you can't do it. This ain't Love and Hip Hop. But a lot of women were mad the fact that Amber was still friendly and cordial to Matt, the way he treated her, because they would have gave him attitude. They wouldn't sit beside him at the reunion.
Well, I don't think she had a choice to sit beside him. That's the way he sat him. But her posture definitely was away from him. She wasn't trying to be close to him. And for people that are mad that Amber wants to be cordial, right? It's good to be kind. She's displaying kindness. She didn't say she wanted to be friends. She didn't say we want to be cool. I don't want to date him. But what she said was, Charlotte is small. When I see him, which I will see him out, I don't want to act like I don't know him, because that's not true.
But it's not that small. I looked it up. It's like 900,000 people in the city of Charlotte, downtown area. I mean,
but it's small. It's small. We'll find out later how small it is. But and that makes sense to me. She said she wants to be, like, hey, how you doing, and keep it moving. But Matt looked like he gonna be the type to be like, yeah, all right, go ahead, girl.
Yeah,
like,
but
I don't want you. I don't want you no more. I don't want you no more. He was just real. He was real prickish. He was a prick.
He was rude. He said after 15 minutes, I knew I didn't want to be with you. I don't know if it was.
What kind of trash is that?
I don't know if it was because of the height or whatever, but his 15 minutes wasn't. It didn't take him that long to hit the skins. I mean, it hit after 2 days on the honeymoon. I mean, hit the skins several times. I guess he figured, look, I may not like her, but I can get it in.
And I have an issue with that, which I'll come to with the other person. But I have an issue with that. Just the disconnection that people have between your emotions and your heart and the act of sex. Like, dang, man, I wasn't feeling her, but I was feeling them skins. How superficial are you? Oh my God.
Yeah, but she kind of did that to herself. Let's be honest. She was really emotional. She loved kissing him. She wanted to jump his bones. I know that was her husband. She was real clingy. She was detaching. So it was much more her and him together. The reason that he jumped her bones, because she was always on top of him, touchy-feely.
Well, I agree. That was on both of them. But I promise you, if she had known that he wasn't really feeling her, wouldn't have been no whole lot of bone jumping.
It probably wasn't, but he was playing like he was feeling her. He played her. I mean, let's be honest. He played her because he wanted to get the skins. He got somewhere.
I feel like, I'm sorry.
Now, he got somewhere to live for 2 months. I don't know if he's homeless or not.
No, they said he said he's staying with some of his friends, just like he was before.
Like before, we never heard anything else about his business that he was supposed to start up, this mobile detailing business. We don't know if that ever got off the ground. I'll be interested to find out and see.
If he'll be playing overseas.
He might be, but that overseas window closes after a while. And he wasn't that great. If you look up his stats and look at his numbers, he wasn't that great overseas as a basketball player. He played, but he wasn't that great where they keep renewing the contract. I mean, that's probably why he ended up in Charlotte. But he's staying with friends. It's time for Matt to kind of grow up. They call Iris immature because of her sexuality and her using her virginity. Matt needs to grow up and be a man and get his own place, get his own house. He's old enough to do so. Sure, he made a decent amount of money overseas, unless he just threw it all away. But it's time to grow up and become a man in that sense, because That's what he needs to do. Stop being he was totally disrespectful. To me, I thought he was disrespectful to Amber and
He
being a
was
prick.
very disrespectful. He was very disrespectful, and everybody knows that when all the couples came together, and Kevin Frazier's going around and asking them, "What have you learned? What would you say to the people that are coming on Married at First Sight season 10 DC?" And he was looking like, and everybody chuckled like, "Wow." Like, you don't have nothing to say about your experience. He was just, to me, he was so nasty. It was nasty.
I'd be surprised if Matt did his own application. I think somebody did his application for the show for him, and by the fact that he got picked, he was like, okay, there's an opportunity for me to be on TV. I mean, really do, because think about it. If he really wasn't that invested in the show or didn't like it, why did you even come on? Because I wonder if these people watch it. I wonder if he ever watched it before he came on. Here you go, casting call, Married at First Sight. Go try this out. Did he ever really watch the show? Because if you're that uninterested in your spouse or your mate, and really not playing up to the cameras, for him to even to leave and hang out for 2 or 3 days, why she was on, why they was married is totally disrespectful to her.
Well, it just goes back again to the fact that he said he wasn't. Now it makes sense when he says, "I wasn't feeling her." It makes total sense why. I need a break from her. I got to get away from her. She stresses me out. I don't feel like being around her all the time. Ding, ding. Because you really didn't like her. You really didn't like her. So that's why you could be away from her and it didn't bother you any. And then when she was like, "Where are you? I want you to come back. You left me alone." Then he was really irritated because he didn't like her.
But
I feel like what you said. He wanted his 15 minutes of fame. Maybe he was trying to elevate his basketball career because he said they asked around the room who came into Married at First Sight really ready and prepared to be married. And he did not raise his hand. 3 out of the 4 guys did not raise their hand.
Yeah, what he did, but that's where the recommitments episode, he should have said no. If you weren't feeling her, that was his out. You already look bad on TV. You already know how you've been looking. He should have took the out as a recommitment instead of saying, "Oh, we want to recommit to this marriage." You still look like a prick. You look worse now than you did at the recommitment. So take the out. They gave you an out. He should have took the out.
Yes.
That's my issue. If you didn't like her, you wasn't feeling her after 15 minutes of fame. I mean, after 15 minutes, you knew she wasn't a one. So when Pastor Cal, and all them guys asked the question, "Do you want to be married?" You should have took the out. And nobody would have been mad. Because it would have made great TV that somebody took it out early in the marriage. What was it, 4 weeks in, I believe, or 3 weeks in? It might have been 4 weeks in. 4 weeks in. 4 weeks in when they gave him an out. He should have took it out. Well, let's move on. Jamie and Elizabeth. Elizabeth with new hairstyle, new look, giving the Asian look there. Comes out. Her and Jamie, I like.
Did you say the Asian look?
The Asian look. Kevin.
Why gotta be? Oh, you talking about her clothes?
Her clothes. Kevin Frazier asking the question. I like the questions he asked. Kevin Frazier does a good job on this show as the host. He does a real good job asking the questions that the people want to hear. He does a good job. We found out that Jamie and Elizabeth did split up for a minute. I guess everybody was right. They did split, but they got back together.
Yeah, I don't think that caught anybody by surprise. It didn't catch me by surprise.
No, not at all. But it was over the dog, I believe. The dog was sick, or I couldn't really get the whole.
She was just going through so many things. It was them moving in together and trying to insert each other in each other's lives, getting back to real life. The cameras were gone. She was like, it was like something was missing. Yeah, the cameras were missing, and now you got to live like, you're not on TV. And the dog got sick, and they almost had to put the dog down, and she just got overwhelmed, and they broke up.
But that's life issues to me, though. It seemed like those are life issues. You're breaking up because of life issues. Like, you got to be able to handle in marriage, deal with things happening. One losing a job, dog getting sick. If you got kids going to the doctor's office. I mean, just those things that you're gonna have to deal with as a whole. And she just couldn't. And at that sense, she said she couldn't handle. She couldn't deal. Which we all knew that she couldn't. She didn't like adversity anyway. Every time there was some adverse situations in their relationship, she was going off the handle. But they can't do that. I mean, I like the fact that they still married, they still working on it. I hope they go into counseling, some type of counseling, to get their stuff together. But I think this marriage will last because I think they both like toxic relationships. I just do. I think it's normal to them.
Yes, it's terrible to say that. It's terrible to say that. People love a train wreck.
Yeah, but they like each other. They love each other. Seem like Jamie, cool and collective. But they had big news as well, and Lifetime has to stop doing this. They say like, well, we got big news, and they cut the commercial break. And to keep you there, and like, okay, what's the big news? And well, the big news is the fact that they're moving to the West Coast now. They've been married at this time, I think about 4 or 5 months. If you want to count it. I don't know if it's a good idea for them to move. It might be a great. You know what? It is a great idea for them to move out west. At first, I was like, no. But she's away from family. They're away from there. I mean, I think it's good for her to move out west with Jamie, and they kind of get a fresh start. They're out of the Charlotte scene. Think about this: people recognize them on TV from TV, so you get all that pressure, you get all that situation. So when you're going out west, I think it might be a fresh start for them, and I hope everything works out and continue to work out for them as they move out west. And it's good for them.
Yeah, they didn't say why they were moving. But the one thing they did talk about is, okay, so are you going to work remotely for your dad? And she says, no, she's not going to be working for her dad anymore.
He made her quit. Let me stop. I'm just kidding. But you know what?
He made her quit.
No, but you know what was? I think Jamie's getting a job out west. But what it does is help Elizabeth grow up and be on her own. I mean, I think her dad was really too supportive in the relationship, or too supportive in her life. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing as a father, but there's sometimes that you got to cut boundaries, and you have to be able to be on your own feet, and do your own thing. And now you have a husband, and he wants to move out west. Y'all move together, and y'all grow, and maybe they get their own new reality show. Maybe they're getting some TV time or going to Hollywood. I don't know. But I think it'll be good for them, and good for her.
Yeah.
And then we see, and I like the fact that Jamie said he came into this, and we saw on the finale that he came into this really being married, wanted to be married. He was mad at Matt because he didn't want to be married. Jamie wanted to be married, and I think it's great that he wanted to be married, and he wanted to be married to Elizabeth, and they're working through their problems. Marriage is not always the best of roads. Sometimes when you knew. And think about it, these people knew each other for 2 months. It's not like they knew each other for 2 years before he asked a question. It's not like they really kind of dated before they asked questions. They were kind of getting to know each other. And so I think they know each other a little bit better now. And I think they last. I really do think that we'll come back in 2 or 3 years and that Jamie and Elizabeth still be married.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think you're right. That toxicity, man.
She might have a baby before anybody else too, so.
Unfortunately, I think you're right. I think you're right.
But they didn't want. They both said they didn't want any kids. So remember that episode that they lied on the application.
That's true.
They did,
That's
but
true.
So maybe she's taking precaution that they may not have any kids, or haven't get any kids. So
yeah.
And let's move to your favorite couple. Well, the couple that everybody wants us to talk about, Keith and Iris. Now Iris came out there looking like $1 million. People commented about her wig. I mean. You got to do it every once in a while if you got natural hair. I thought she looked decent. She looked okay. She looked okay.
She just didn't look like Iris. She looked like she was putting on.
And all the women love Keith. They're like, yo, Iris divorced. I'm moving to North Carolina. Keith unlock. They're like, Keith unlock your DMs. Keith unlock your DMs. I mean, everybody on the internet was talking about Keith unlock your DMs. They love Keith. Keith is getting a lot of love. Look, let's be honest. Keith is not a bad guy here. And if I came off a video, I kind of agree with Keith. Look, he wasn't ready. And let's not do it for Iris just because they wasn't compatible. So I'm not even knocking Keith. The reason he gave kind of bull. But if you realize this is not the person you compatible with or that you like, hey, go ahead and let her down. Same thing at the recommitment episode. If he knew this wasn't the one that he wanted, he should have
let her go.
He should have let it go too. That's my only thing. These guys had an out in this episode. I mean, in this season, and they should have took it out. If he wasn't feeling the virgin thing, cool. We don't know what they did a lot off camera, but those are discussions they should have had. Maybe he didn't romanticize her because he didn't really feeling
her. You and I were talking about that, and that's my thing. It's like he could have let it go at the recommitment point. He could have been like, no, I'm not feeling you. He didn't romance her. He didn't, again, maybe more subtle than Matt. Same thing. Okay, I'm not really feeling you, so I'm not going to do the extra. And so he didn't do the extra. I like what Iris said. I wish that we had these conversations outside of filming, or if, or even on filming, not just to the experts. Like, you caught me off guard. I wish I had. She said, I wish I had pushed him more to talk about how my virginity affected him. I wish I had pushed him to get deeper into that and explain a little bit more.
But she didn't want to push. She didn't want to push him because she didn't want, after the 8 weeks, to get the result that she obviously got. You know, she didn't want to get that. I think in this experiment, you have to push those buttons. You have to talk about everything when the cameras are on or off. You have to be able to find it because you have to make a decision in 2 months. So you have to talk about this. And I think as people, you can feel what's going on in a relationship, if it's good or not. If someone's kind of faking a little bit. I mean, your intuition or whatever you want to call it gives you that kind of discernment of what's going on. She just didn't want to, you know, go to it, and I think she really loved Keith. I think Keith really loves her, but I think he really likes her as a person, and he really likes the company that they had and the time they shared together. But I think Keith just didn't want to look like the bad guy on TV. He didn't want to look like Matt. He didn't want to be Matt. To me, he didn't want to be a prick.
I feel like, but he didn't have to be nasty about it. Like, I feel like this. Everybody's commending Keith because, you know, I don't even know if they say he's been a gentleman about it, but it doesn't hurt any less. And I feel like you're not being kind to me if you're not being honest with me. That's not kind. That's not kind. It's like you trying to save face. So, like you said, so you don't look like a bad guy. I feel like he wasn't really doing it for Iris. Not that he's a mean guy. I think he would be nice about it. You know, that's kind of his personality. But it's just blah. Like, be straight up with me. Like Iris said, the way you let me down, she was like, you know, oh, you nice and I think you're a good person, but yeah, I'm not feeling you. So yeah, you can have that. Go ahead that way. And he was like, that's not what I said. Kevin said, but that's how it was interpreted. Me not being Iris, that's how I interpreted it too. You build me up and make it look all nice and make me sound all good and like, but yeah, bye. Don't feel like being bothered. And I don't care what nobody says. This was the proof in the pudding. It was about sex with Keith because they asked, are you dating? Are you seeing anybody? No. And so Iris was like, well, did you get some? Are you having sex? He was like, what that got to do with anything? He didn't say no. He didn't say no.
I guess he had to get his needs met. He went 2 months now. What else?
And I told you I was going to do it. I'm saying, you know, you and I, we are saved people. We Christian people. And I'm going to go there. Like, bro, Keith, you say you a church-going guy. You saved or whatever. And you having sex out here with no relationship. Body just laying up. Oh, Keith, I'm ashamed. Don't tell nobody that you go to church. Don't tell nobody you saved. Just tell them you secular most of the time.
Hey, but he never said. He said he went to church. Never said they come from a church background. We know everybody in church don't do what they're supposed to do. So,
I know. That's what I'm saying. Don't even say it.
But he had an opportunity. He had an opportunity with Iris, and I think they had an opportunity to get it together. Like I said, people wanted to see them together, whether it's on TV. Everybody wanted to see them together. I think people enjoy black love, and I think thought they would make them a good couple together. But it was different in an aspect. He just couldn't get past of her immaturity. And let's be honest, she couldn't.
He said he didn't want to teach. He said, I didn't come into this. I didn't plan. I didn't want to teach nobody. I didn't want to be from our relationship for them to form their sexual opinion and their habits and stuff.
I think she already has a sexual opinion, though. I think he just didn't want. It was just the intercourse. She said she had done other things, so he
said he didn't want to teach her. Keith, you lazy bum. If somebody comes into a relationship, having had sex before, if they come into it not being a virgin, they still gonna have to get to know how you like it. You're gonna have to get to know how they like it.
Right.
You're gonna have to do some teaching and some sharing. And my sister and I were talking, and I was like, Keith, do you know how You sound so stupid. Do you know how many guys would love to get a woman that was a virgin and just do what they do, and she be like, oh, okay, like this, okay, like that. You can get everything you can. I don't want to say mold, but you have a clean slate. You don't have them coming in there like criticizing you. Oh, it's too this, it's too that.
Or
It
comparing,
don't look like this.
or comparing you to the other dude that laid it down,
That's what I'm
smacked it up,
saying.
flipped it down, and did whatever else
That's
he
what I'm
did.
saying.
But you know,
That's what I'm saying. I like
who
it.
turned you this way, that way, and whatever. And so
Yes.
she's not going to compare him to anybody else because she never had anybody else. And so I think
And
that was
that's
the
a
key.
good thing.
That's the good
That's a
thing.
good thing.
That's the key point because she's not comparing. And so therefore, you are whatever he did or whatever they would have done would have been like, okay, this is what I like, and that's in any relationship. If you get into relationships, you and your partner have to have a conversation about that. What you like, what you don't like. You can't surprise him or that night come out with whips and chains and he ain't down to whipping chains. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, you be like, no. See,
Nah,
what I'm not gonna do
what
is get
I'm
tied up.
yeah, well, you know, so that's what a conversation had to come into. Not that he has a teacher, but just asking the question, Iris, what do you like? Or Iris, but she couldn't answer the question about doggy style. Well, Iris should have been like, you know what, I never had doggy style, but I'm willing to try. Or I haven't, you know, whatever case may be, but I'm willing to try that. Or Iris, okay, have you did this, and this? Because you said, I'm not sure they had that conversation that she did other things. I'm sure her and Keith probably did other things. I think they just didn't have intercourse, and he wasn't willing to teach her about the intercourse aspect. But dude, it's conversation. It's part of relationships because even those who have sex before coming into a marriage, and they're not virgins, you have to have a conversation with your spouse. What do you like during sex? And that's not an awkward conversation. Grown folks should have that conversation.
Yeah, but I guess he was feeling like that would be an awkward conversation because the kiss body and blow boobs and stuff. She's like,
Buy a
no.
book. All you had to do was buy a book. Point to the picture that you want to try, or tell me what you want to see. You know, what would you like to do?
So,
You don't want to kiss toes or kiss feet. What would you? She did the thing. Let's be honest. She did the whole exercise Dr. Viv gave her with the licking with the paint and all that, and she looked like she was into it. So never was anybody. I'm not gonna say that Iris wasn't into trying different things. She just didn't want to try different things on camera, and that was the biggest issue for her. And Keith should have been like, okay, we can try some things on the times when the cameras are not here. Let's try this. Or the time when the cameras are not there, let's have a conversation about this. And I don't like, real quick, I don't like how they didn't go to, she is a sex therapist, Dr. Viv, but we only saw one episode with them going and talking to her.
Right. And like I said, I think it just really all boils down to he wasn't that into her. And so he gave her that vibe. I think if he gave her the vibe that I'm into you, you know, more than a little bit, if he did some Greg type of stuff, then it would have been more clear to her. It would have been more clear to her. But he didn't do that, but he also didn't give her the other, he didn't like completely negate that it could go that way. So she was really in the dark, and for that, I'm mad at Keith. If I ever see him, it's going on site.
So you one of them people too, waiting for him to unlock his profile on Instagram and all these other things, right?
No, I'm not as close. I'm not gonna do that. But I was really disappointed because he seemed like a stand-up kind of dude, but
he is a stand-up dude. He was honest. He never lied to her. Let's be honest. He was
a
stand-up.
Listen, a half truth is a lie. You didn't tell the whole truth, my dude.
He loved her. He was loving her. He was feeling her. He wasn't sexually compatible to her.
He said he not. They've been talking on the phone. They've been going out to dinner. And when the rubber met the road and Kevin Frazier said, is there potential for you and Iris to date in the future? He said no. She was like, thank you. And I promise you, after that,
she needed to stop calling him. She needed to stop calling him.
Well, no, I think the calls went both ways. I don't care what nobody say. He said he missed her. He probably asked her, let's go out to dinner. He called her, hey, how you doing? After that, Iris should be like, nope, hey, nope, block. Don't talk to me. What are we doing? I don't even want to be your friend. Maybe one day, like Matt and Amber, like Matt straight up was like, she was like, will you act like you hate me? He was like, I don't hate you. He was just like, I'm just not feeling it right now. Maybe one day he gets that point. So for Keith and Iris, maybe one day they could be friends. But I think even from the friendship, she needs a break from it right
She does need a break. She needs a break. She needs to stop coming off looking desperate. I hope she finds her person that she finds. I'm sure there's a lot of guys out there right now who's knocking on Iris's door. She's not ugly, but she's attractive. So I think they're knocking on her door. So I think she has the potential to get married in the next 3 or 4 years. And like I said, I was wrong in the long episode. I thought she would be broke down. I think she is hurting, and she's hiding behind
now.
that.
Oh
She's hurting, and I
yeah, oh
think
yeah.
she's hiding behind that. And I think it will take her a while to get into a different relationship. A person who always say, I'm not hurting, it's kind of really probably hurting, hurting. So I think it will be interesting to see where she goes from here, how she gets into a new relationship. Interesting to see where Keith goes from here as well. But
Oh, I don't care. I don't care where he goes.
I do
We
care.
know where he's going.
No,
We know
look,
where he's going.
I
He's going
do.
to somebody's bed.
Hey, look, I do care because look, I think he has emotions for her, and I think he cares about her, and I think he gets a question every day about her. I don't think he can live it down, and I think once again, this is as you said, Charlotte's a small city. I think they will bump paths. As far as being together, I just don't see it happening. I just don't want.
I don't either.
Everybody shouldn't
I
get.
don't either.
Everybody don't give Keith a hard time. Keith, he tried to be
I'm giving him
respectful.
a hard
He
time.
tried to be respectful in this whole thing. He just wasn't compatible with her sexually. Well, he wasn't compatible with her sexually verbally because they never had sex. So he don't know if they're compatible actual sexually or not. He verbally, based off the
Right.
conversation and based off of what he heard and what she wouldn't willing try to do, they might not be compatible. As far as actual intercourse, he doesn't know if they're compatible sexually. He doesn't know
Yeah.
that the same thing that she liked, that he liked, she may have liked. You know what I'm saying? So it's just a lot of ifs and buts with their relationship. And I think he made a decent decision, not because I didn't want to see them together, but as his mother said, if he's not happy, let's not go into this marriage trying to get happy. Let's be honest. When we got married, we were both happy to be around each other and be married. So if he wasn't happy and staying in this relationship, don't be there and be miserable. Even Jamie and Elizabeth, with all their argument, are happy. You know what I'm saying? They're happy.
Yeah.
They want to be there. Keith seemed like he didn't want to be there anymore because he felt like I'm not getting. Because everybody talk about Iris's needs, Keith needs sexually were not getting met. And there's some married people. There's some married people who needs are not getting met sexually, and that's why some husbands cheat, some wives cheat. That's why they got the maintenance man and the maid. I mean, because their needs are not even getting met sexually, and they don't want to leave. But at least he had enough gall to say, you know what, I'm out.
Yeah. I'm still.
You over it?
I'm team Iris. I'm not team Keith. I'm over it.
I'm not team
anybody.
I'm not team anybody. I'm team right. But anyway, oh man,
it ain't right.
It's been a fun season reviewing Married at First Sight. We just want to thank each and every one of y'all that subscribed, each and every one of you that watched our review. Everybody gave us a thumbs up. We had a fun time. We really, really enjoyed doing this. We had watched many of seasons. We came up with the idea to let's go ahead and put it on YouTube. I think we had a great idea, and I thank y'all for liking the show. Thank you for subscribing. We're still trying to figure out what we're going to review next, but we're going to review something. Please stay tuned to the Jack and Glenn channel. We're going to come out with something here shortly. A new show that we're going to review. Can't wait till January because they're in kind of for DC, kind of our stomping grounds a little bit in the area that we used to. And
we might see somebody in that room auditioning and we know.
So some things that we used to have seen and some sites we used to seeing being in the DC, Maryland area. So it's good to see that. DC, I'm excited. I'm excited for DC and I'm excited for Married at First Sight. And continue watching. Continue staying here for the Jack and Glenn channel. Make sure you subscribe. Hit that bell notification so you never miss any of our episodes. What you got, Jack? Close us out.
I have nothing else. I think you closed us out very well.
Oh, thank you.
I need you to come back off of location.
I'll be there shortly. Be there shortly. Ladies and gentlemen, hope y'all enjoy our review once again. So hit the bells notification, hit subscribe, and we'll see you in a couple weeks as we review our new show. Bye.
Bye.